Curious, have you ever wondered why some couples just never seem to argue about money, while others fight about it every single week?
Oh, you mean like those couples who can talk about bills and somehow end up hugging? Meanwhile, the rest of us need a financial referee?
Exactly. You'd think love would make money talks easier, but for many people, it actually makes them harder.
Because money isn't just numbers, it's emotions, identity, and childhood habits rolled into one.
That's what we're diving into today. Why some couples never argue about money, and why others can't stop. And more importantly, how you can become the first kind.
So grab your coffee, find a comfy spot, and let's talk about love, money, and everything that hides between them.
Welcome back to Couple Cashflow, where we talk about money, mindset, and marriage without making it awkward.
Or at least we try.
So before we get deep, let's be real. Every couple has at least one money personality clash moment, right?
Oh, yeah. Like when one person thinks buying new towels is a necessity and the other calls it financial betrayal?
I see that hit close to home.
I'm not saying it did, but if someone ever reorganized the budget to include scented candles, I might plead guilty.
Okay, but jokes aside, that's actually our first hidden reason couples argue about money. They're not fighting about the numbers, they're fighting about values.
Wait, explain that. Values?
Think about it. When one partner wants to save and the other wants to spend, it's not about the $200 difference, it's about what money represents.
Like security versus joy or control versus freedom.
Exactly. The spender says, we only live once. The saver says, we only retire once. And both think they're right because emotionally they are.
So it's not money problems, it's meaning problems.
Perfectly said. When couples learn to decode the meaning behind money, the argument shifts from blame to understanding.
Okay, so how do they do that? Like, what's the magic phrase that stops a money argument before it explodes?
There's no magic phrase, but there is a mindset. It's called financial empathy.
Financial empathy. I like that. Sounds like the ability to see your partner's spreadsheet through their heart.
Exactly. Instead of saying, you're always spending, try, can you help me understand what this purchase means to you? That one sentence changes the entire conversation.
Because suddenly it's not about accusation, it's about curiosity.
And that brings us to secret number 2. Money mirrors your emotional safety.
That's deep. You mean how safe you feel being honest about money reflects how safe you feel in the relationship?
Exactly. If your partner grew up in a household where money meant fear, they might avoid the topic. If you grew up where money meant love or pride, you might overmanage it. Both are emotional survival tactics, not flaws.
That's true. We all bring invisible scripts into our marriage, like spend means love or save means safety, and we think our way is the only normal one.
And those unspoken scripts clash silently until one day someone says, why do you always do this? And the other goes, why can't you just relax?
It's not about logic anymore. It's about childhood ghosts playing tug of war with adult bank accounts.
Exactly. That's why financial peace starts with emotional honesty, not financial literacy.
I love that. Because you can have all the budgeting apps in the world, but if you can't talk safely, the system collapses.
That's a great way to put it. The strongest couples don't necessarily have the most money, they have the most trust.
Trust is the real currency.
Exactly. And that leads us to secret number 3. They have rules, not resentment.
Rules? Like what kind of rules?
Not the controlling kind, the cooperative kind. For example, any purchase over $200 needs a 24-hour pause. Or we each get a personal spending allowance every month, no questions asked.
Ah, the famous fun fund. It's like giving your freedom a budget instead of letting it run wild.
Exactly. The idea isn't to restrict joy, it's to protect it. Because when both people know the boundaries, money loses its power to trigger fear.
That makes sense. It's like parenting together. Structure doesn't kill freedom, it keeps it from turning into chaos.
Exactly. Financial structure is emotional structure. It creates a sense of we instead of me versus you.
I think that's why some couples never argue, not because they're naturally compatible, but because they've engineered clarity.
Beautifully said. They built a system that supports communication, even when emotions get messy.
And when the system works, it's almost invisible. You just feel calm, like the bills are handled, the goals are aligned, and nobody's secretly stressed.
Exactly. You can't buy peace, but you can design it.
But what about those couples who fight about money constantly? What's usually happening underneath?
Great question. Usually it's one of three things: mismatched expectations, unspoken fears, or unequal control.
Okay, let's unpack those.
Sure, mismatched expectations. That's when one partner thinks we're saving for a house, and the other thinks we're going to Europe this year. Neither is wrong, but no one said it out loud.
That's like trying to play a duet on two different songs.
Exactly. And unspoken fears, that's the stuff people don't admit, like I'm afraid of being broke, or I'm scared you'll judge how I spend.
Those fears make money talks defensive instead of collaborative.
Right. And finally, unequal control. When one partner manages everything and the other feels left out or infantilized, that imbalance slowly erodes trust.
So it's not about who's good with money, it's about whether both people feel respected in the process.
Exactly. Healthy couples treat money as teamwork, not as a performance review.
That's such an underrated mindset. Like, if one person is the spreadsheet master, the other shouldn't feel like an intern.
Totally. Because marriage isn't a company, it's a collaboration.
I think the most peaceful couples have found that rhythm. They blend emotional intelligence with practical habits.
Yeah. They talk about goals before they talk about bills. They set boundaries before frustration sets in. They celebrate progress before perfection.
You know what's interesting? When couples argue less about money, they usually argue less about everything.
True. Because money touches everything: freedom, security, love, even identity. Solve money communication, and you solve 70% of relationship stress.
So basically, money conversations are like emotional gym sessions. You don't love the workout, but you love the results.
That's the best metaphor I've heard all week. And like exercise, it's easier to do it regularly, not just when you're in crisis.
So what does money peace look like in practice?
It looks like calm curiosity instead of criticism. It sounds like, hey, can we talk about our goals this weekend? Instead of, why did you spend this?
It feels like safety, the kind where you can say, I messed up, and your partner says, okay, let's fix it together.
Exactly. Because in the end, money peace isn't about agreement, it's about alignment.
Alignment over agreement. I like that.
You know, some of the best advice I ever heard was the goal isn't to think the same, it's to understand differently.
That's beautiful. Understanding differently. That's what turns financial friction into growth.
And once you reach that point, something amazing happens. Your money talks stop feeling like negotiations and start feeling like shared vision sessions.
Shared vision sessions. I love that. It's like turning budgeting into dream planning.
Exactly. The energy completely changes. Instead of what can we cut, it becomes what are we building?
And that's such a shift from survival mode to creation mode.
Exactly. When couples stay in survival mode too long, every dollar feels like a threat. But when they move into creation mode, every dollar becomes a tool.
That reminds me of when we first started our joint account. We didn't realize how many old beliefs about money we were both carrying.
Oh yeah, it was like financial therapy in disguise.
Right? You think you're just setting up autopay, and suddenly you're unpacking your childhood fears of scarcity.
And that's exactly why couples who don't argue about money usually have done that inner work. They've made peace not just with each other, but with their past money stories.
That's a big one, because how you were raised around money often dictates how you react to it now.
Yep, if you grew up hearing money is tight, you'll likely feel guilty spending. If you grew up hearing money will come, you might overspend with confidence. Both extremes can cause friction unless you talk about it.
So, part of financial harmony is just financial awareness.
Exactly. Awareness before accusation.
That's good. I feel like most fights start not because people disagree about money, but because they don't understand where the other person's reaction is coming from.
Right. It's not you're bad with money, it's you're reacting to something invisible.
That invisible stuff, like fear, shame, or pride, that's what fuels the arguments.
And that's why empathy is the secret ingredient in financial peace. You can't spreadsheet your way to safety if your partner feels unheard.
Empathy before efficiency.
Exactly. Because when empathy comes first, compromise becomes easy.
You know what's crazy? Once you both start feeling secure emotionally, you actually spend less impulsively.
Totally. People think discipline comes from willpower, but it actually comes from emotional safety. When you feel understood, you stop trying to fill emotional gaps with purchases.
That's so true. Financial calm is often emotional calm in disguise.
Exactly. That's why couples who rarely argue about money aren't necessarily rich, they're emotionally synchronized.
Emotionally synchronized. I love that phrase. It's like financial harmony is really emotional music.
Perfect metaphor. When one person changes tempo, the other adjusts instead of competing.
So if someone's listening right now and thinking, that sounds amazing, but we argue all the time, what's step one?
Step 1. Stop trying to win the conversation. The goal isn't victory, it's visibility.
Visibility, as in both people feeling seen.
Exactly. Start by saying, I want to understand what money means to you, not, here's what you're doing wrong.
That small change could completely alter the tone.
Yeah, because most money fights are just two people trying to feel safe and using numbers as armor.
Wow, that hits deep.
Yeah, you can't fight your way into trust. You have to listen your way there.
So, to wrap this up, the couples who never argue about money aren't magically compatible. They've learned to stay curious instead of combative.
Exactly. They replace, why did you do that? With, can you tell me what you were thinking when you did that?
They replace shame with curiosity, and the whole energy changes.
And that's where peace begins, not in agreement, but in empathy.
I think that's the message we want to leave people with today. If you're arguing about money, it's not a sign you're broken, it's a sign you're learning how to collaborate.
Exactly. Money doesn't divide people. Misunderstanding does.
Beautifully said.
And if you enjoyed this conversation or learned something new, please help our channel grow. Hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a little more peace in their financial life.
And as always, if we got something wrong or missed a perspective, let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. Thanks for tuning in to Couple Cashflow, where we talk about money, mindset, and marriage without making it awkward.